Good afternoon, hope you all had a lovely weekend so far. This week, Danni should be around for a couple of days, but she's still in South Wales at the minute. I'm going to mainly focus on battery tray that I took home and primed. Need to paint that, let that dry, and then get the batteries in there in its new home. I'm going to try and focus and get this stud wall done as much as possible, because I'm really looking to get running water. Probably not this week, because the next water point's a little bit further than we want to go, so maybe next week's video we'll give the water system a test, at least the cold water system rather than hot yet, because we're still waiting on heater. I was going to get the drone up this morning, but it's actually really quite windy. I've seen they had 90-mile-an-hour winds up in Scotland. I don't really want to lose the drone. You can tell it's windy because the canal's almost turned into a river. At least that's what it feels like. Calm down a little bit now. It's a duck going past, maybe look a bit stupid. Definitely feels moving a bit though, and our tarpaulin shelter up here has taken a bit of a battering, and we've lost a couple magnets. We've got some more on order. We're actually getting a proper cratch cover booked in. Been speaking to a local company in Salford called Masterworks. It wasn't as expensive as we thought. I think when we've heard people talking how expensive covers are, they've been getting a pram cover as well, which is where the most of the money is. I think it's about 900 quid for the cover that's out of the acrylic, which is a bit of a nicer material, or a bit of a softer material. No windows in it, bar the front, but we'll have to maybe ask Uncle Garry to help us make a nice cratch board out of some oak or something. That's another story. Yeah, I'm going to get on and paint this battery tray.
Devotion that brings me down, that without my love for the ocean I would be no one.
Right, whilst that's drying, I'm going to get this stud wall as far on as I can, ready to put the plywood on, so then we can put the worktop on and the sink unit ready for running water. Got some conduit to go on the cables. So I've left a nice access panel here so I can get down in through access to the pump and stuff, as well as the other side, just to make my life easier in the future when something inevitably goes wrong. Next up, I just want to see where the water heater is exactly going to fit, and then I can mount a little gas pipe coming along for the feed, and then figure out what's going on with these and whether I need some, well, I know I need flexies, but just see how far I can cut these down. Just been reading up on the BSS. I was a bit worried about how close the copper or the gas pipe could be close to like appliances and whatnot. I can't see anything, so essentially I'm going to run water heater is going to be mounted. Pardon me. Water's going to be The water heater is going to be mounted up here, then the pipes are cut out through the worktop, and then it can continue down here, and then we'll have access when we pull the fridge out. Obviously have the fridge slightly away from the wall, maybe while they're being conduit or something maybe to protect them. I'm going to put an extra stud in just at the bottom pencil line, so it's got some secure mounting holes. Once that's up, I can pop that top piece of plywood up permanently. I've got to cut a hole for the light switch. Cool, that's the top half up. I'm going to have a good old tidy up and then head over to South Wales and see Danny for the evening, and I'll catch you first thing. Good morning, Danny sends her love. I'm just checking through the installation manual on this again. It's giving you like almost a template to follow for the mounting screws for the gas water heater this is. Then I'm going to get that mounted temporarily. I'm waiting for the core cutter to come to put a hole up for a ceiling. Then that means I can run the pipes exactly to where they need to be. Cup of tea. I'm also today going to mount the batteries in the new home. That's all dry, 2 coats, and plumb, or at least run the pipes for the washing machine and the power cable for the washing machine. Also, if anyone's wondering what worktops we've used, I realise we haven't actually shown you properly. It's just some rustic oak off eBay for 3 metre length, which gives us 2 of these at 1.5, which is enough to go sink, fridge, and then a piece for the unit. It was £180 delivered. That's 40mm thick. It's about the cheapest solid wood worktop you can get, really, apart from pine. It's virtually the same as what we had in the van that we did. But that was a bit thinner, I think. This weighs a lot more. I didn't realise quite the weight, so.
White snow, red sky, reach out so high. Blue eyes, big cry, beware of the fox tonight. Cold feet, dark rain, my blood in your frozen veins. Dream high, no pain, run fast in broken chains.
So I don't know if I said yesterday, but a slight change of plan on the hose has been buried. They were going to be buried in the stud, but obviously that's going to leave me a bit vulnerable if anything leaks. So I'm going to have them running down, mounted on the front of the ply, and then just space the fridge back a little bit so I can pull these out. It's hot milk.
White snow, red sky, reach out so high. Blue eyes, big
If you struggle with schematics or whatever the fancy word for it, it's always good to take photos of what's in behind. Obviously we film everything anyway, but I've taken a few photos just so I can see where the waste pipe is, so I don't screw into that. A few measurements, always handy. whilst that dries, I'm going to put the kettle on and I'll show you what treat I've got for lunch. So we've all heard of Smash in England, but when I was in Tesco's the other day, I seen an American from Idaho in particular. Now I know Idaho is the potato state because there's a hotel that I follow on Instagram and it's a giant 6-ton fiberglass potato. I want to stay there. So I thought I'd give this a go. Ready in 1 minute. Add 475 ml of boiling water to a bowl. Stir and pack it. Stir and pack it using a fork to evenly wet all potatoes. This is the cheddar cheese one for added flavour. If anyone's from Idaho, make sure to make yourself known, even if this tastes bad. It's thickening it up quite nice. Now what? Let the potatoes sit for a minute, fluff up with a fork and enjoy. Alright, let's go Idaho. That's actually really quite nice. Perfect because I'm starving and cooking facilities are limited on a boat, but that's actually quite palatable. Right, back to work, full of Idaho potatoes. Battery tray time. So as I did in the engine bay, using these straps to go across the batteries mounted to the bottom of the tray to stop them sliding. Before I got too carried away, I was just trying to figure out the best cable run. I used green instead of black for negative, but also positive. And then they don't cross cables either. Now, even though these batteries are sealed, there's still a chance if something goes wrong that they'll release gas, and obviously now the battery bank's in the cabin, it's even more important to vent them. So if you see there's little holes down in there, I've got some ducting or little micro tubing to vent outside the boat so that if they do leak, it's outside rather than in here. That's one I bought as a trial to see if it would fit, and they do, so hopefully I bought the right ones again. That's little tees. I'm just going to have to figure out how on earth I'm going to I was a bit keen on the straps. Oh no, don't break it. A bit of a silly design, but I guess they're not designed to be packed in groups of 6 all the time. I think I'm going to have to turn them around to face the other way because definitely can't fit me in that gap unless I were to drill a hole. I'll just spin the batteries around. One strange blister later and I'm happy with how it looks. Pipe just exits through far corner there, probably put some trunking on it. So there will be some cables passing through there as well. The only bit I'm not too happy about is where I need to join these two. Might look out for a couple of elbows or something just to tidy that up. Like how they all sit down in the grooves between the batteries. That's sanded down quite nicely now for masking. real quick, I just want to thank Skillshare for sponsoring another one of our videos. Danny and I have been using Skillshare for 6 months and it's now become part of our weekly routine. For those of you new to Skillshare, it's an online learning community with thousands of classes and members across 150 countries. Most recently I've been following Nathaniel Drew's Document Your Life, 4 methods to live more intentionally. The reason I chose this course is once we're cruising on the boat or even travelling again, I'm looking for more ways to document our experiences. Danny and I have been reading a lot more in general, and recently I've been reading through some of my old Hunter S. Thompson books. I've always loved Gonzo style and it's made me think of capturing our travels on paper. Nathaniel talks through filming, photographing, writing and even recording audio of his life, which has opened my eyes into how we can expand from video alone. Take a look at the classes for yourself. There's anything from caring for houseplants to photography and even interior design. The first 1,000 people to use the link in our description will get 1 month's free trial, so give it a go. Try a few classes and let us know if you found some inspiration or if you're simply enjoying learning something new. Good morning. Now I got over here and I thought the boat was listing a bit, which I was a bit worried about, so I thought A, we've either taken on water, or 2, I've miscalculated the ballast really badly, and now that I've put the water top on one side it's listing. But don't you remember I said about some maintenance work? They lowered the water level. Well, they've lowered it even more. And we're sat on a step, so hopefully they'll raise it back up shortly and we can just drift off, otherwise they're going to have to try and push us because we need to move in a couple of days. Garry and Danny are inside. Danny's doing some painting and Garry is fitting some door handles for us.
Beautiful.
How would you have done that if you did those other doors, or you wouldn't be able to?
You use a different sort of a lock.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a rim lock or something, or you have the half a staple thing. They're just different locks. I think this is nicer with the with those pretty
more homely,
pretty handles. Right, now another decision. How high do we have the door handle on the other one? Same height as this or central of the door?
That is the question.
Right, that is 32.5.
Personally, I would say keep it at the same level, but you know what I think it'd do? If you have the door handles lower, in my theory, it's going to make the ceilings higher, because your eyes are automatically assuming that it's halfway up the door.
It is. So
you might as well keep it the
games.
same.
So that's it there.
Yeah, that's nice. Like that, yeah. Mind games, isn't it?
No one's going to walk on the boat and say, "Oh God, aren't those handles low?"
If anyone does, then I'll be coming back to you guys.
They'll just walk on and say, "Aren't they beautiful?"
They are nice, aren't they?
They're stunning. I like them a lot.
Stunning.
Stunning. They're really good. That's good value. I'd like those in my house.
You should get some.
Yeah.
We'll send you the link if you want.
Not this house. The next house.
Aww.
Next one's going to be smaller and character filled. Right. So same size. That's
How
cool.
much is a normal handle?
Again, 15 to 20 quid, I think, for a pair of...
You could,
vary, don't
you could spend
a lot.
anywhere between 10 quid and 100 quid.
Really?
Different quality, different designs. If you said how much do they cost, I would have said 30 quid a pair.
God, what a steal!
That is a steal, and they're so pretty.
Have we said to anyone that we're painting the wall pink?
Would you like to explain yourself?
We're going to paint the wall pink. I think the green might be a bit too dark there. We're going to have green in the living room area, but just thought we bought the whole tub as well and we haven't really used it, so I thought it'd be nice. What are you doing?
I'm just ripping down some 3x2 CLS to make a frame out of some smaller timber around the washing machine. Full 3x2 won't quite fit, so I only get twice as much out of it.
Ooh. So we've gone, or I've gone for the blue on the inside of the bathroom, and we're going to have that matching on the other door facing in the bathroom, and then the other design in the living room, kitchen area and in the bedroom. Gone for this one because it sort of reminds me of the clouds I'm going to paint on the ceiling, and these ones are just cute. Lush, I love it.
So what we've been discussing is how to make the most of the space, really. Got storage underneath for a bit of firewood and whatnot. Access here just left open. Plywood's coming up to cover the face of this, but in here I'm having a little recessed shelf for Danny's books, like small books. And then a shelf in here on top of the washing machine for Danny's.
Fancy. Let me see your picture.
That's a washing machine. For Danny's dehydrator, for foraging. In here. Accessible here via curtain. And this side, inverter, solar charge controller, DC to DC charger, a few funky gadgets. Batteries are there as you've seen. And I'm not sure whether to create a shelf liftable access here so we can see the batteries, hide the batteries, maybe a little bit of storage. Obviously you don't want like flammable stuff within the proximity of the electricals, but something there. Sound clever, don't I?
Yeah, sounds like you know what you're on
A
about.
clipboard. Yeah.
You stood there like that.
So you don't want to be tapped further across.
Do you scratch my ceiling?
At least that gap is then parallel. You with me?
Yeah.
But it's all about what it looks like rather than. Yeah, that's where it looks too far across now.
I can't see your big fat head's in the way.
But then all the lines that you're referencing from are
Ow!
aren't straight.
It does look quite far apart.
What, at the top?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I preferred where it was. And sod the measurements. But there's a lot to take into account because the lines you're referencing on the door aren't necessarily straight.
Mm. The whole boat isn't straight, really, is it?
No. Drive. Drive. Oh, for God's sake. I'll start that again then, shall I? Glad you were here.
I was trying to get around. Joe's just dropped all the screws.
Had to be the fullest box of little tiny 16
Oh, I did that
ones.
the other day. That just does your nut. doesn't it?
Oh.
Let's try that again, shall we?
This is cramped in here, isn't it?
Oh, it's a bit small.
Gosh. Oh, I can't get me back swing. Gosh. Don't try this at home, people. You can lose a finger.
Not unless you're a professional like you.
Yeah, there's a little bit of being a professional. Nice. Perfect.
Perfect. Perfect for the door up here.
So it stops it doing that. It stops the light shining through and possibly a little bit of draft as well. Come out friction. Let's have a look.
Bye.
Bye, thanks for coming.
Don't be alarmed if you feel us sliding and falling.
Great.
I'm just worried if that level drops anymore, we're really going to be.
Stranded.
Yeah.
Beached.
You
Beach
got a
bum.
big bit of timber we can lever it off with.
Yeah, I've got a little barge part, well, a big barge part now, I'm trying.
Be a bit of fun, wouldn't it?
This is
stay on that side.
You know, you used to feel sick, or I don't know if you still do, when you used to come on air and we used to
Yeah.
move. This is.
Same as that, is it?
Look at Joe out the window.
What's he doing?
What are you doing? Oh, can you feel us? Oh, do you feel that?
Something's happening. Yeah, something's definitely happening. Oh gosh. Ooh.
Take your glasses.
I don't know if it's the combination of the boat and the glasses. Jesus. Well, that's horrible. And my strapping and broke. It's all going on, isn't it?
That wasn't as bad as when we just like fell off it when we were up the other bit.
Oh,
Do you want to get on land for a sec?
no, I'm fine.
Are we off?
Yeah. Can't feel it.
Yeah,
Felt something.
not as much as the other one.
It wasn't as bad as the last one, was it? We were right up on it the whole way down.
Yeah, something's moving, isn't it?
I don't know if it's your glasses now.
Oh, I don't know what it is. Christ, my life's just falling to pieces. 5 minutes, Joe, and I'll let you back in again, mate.
Right.
Sit there and chill.
Gonna set up or not? No.
Oh, thumper.
I'll carry on working. I'll carry on working alone then. Like the brave boy that I am. A couple trims to do. As you can probably tell, the battery's dying because we use just a single battery for the lights over it. It's probably going to get a bit
Garry.
dark. Oh yeah, thank you, Gary. They're looking real good. So for now, I've got a little trim to put in behind here, and then that ceiling trim to go back up. And that'll be us for the day. Oh, sorry, I can't. Blister. I've worked so hard.
A devotion that brings me down.
Last day of the week. I'm not sure when we last saw you, but we ended up going out with Kev and that got a bit off hand. We ended up staying at the boat, which wasn't our intention. And I didn't drink any water or anything before bed, so we were absolutely dying
Yesterday was
yesterday.
a write-off on it.
Yeah. So that was great. Today I want to do some more painting, but first we need to move the boat because
It's been 2 weeks already.
yeah, crazy how time flies, but we're going to move closer now to Avencliff.
Yeah, hopefully just past Avencliff. Just gonna let the fire warm up, grab a nice hot drink, and then we'll be on our way.
Yay. Look how beautiful it looks in here. It makes me want to cry.
Getting there, innit?
Thank you, Garry. Just for everything, really.
Sorry about the abrupt end to the cruise. Now, as soon as we launched off, or whatever you call it, I noticed that the gear wasn't engaging, or just felt, you know, in like your stomach just turns and something don't feel right. Now, I assumed it was cable adjustment, but what I did is literally went 5 minutes down to the next space, moored up, and then checked the linkages and the oil. The oil was low, I must admit the oil was low, but I took the cable off and tried it on the box, and the gearbox is doing almost the same as it was before, where it's just really slow to engage, or it takes a couple seconds to engage going forwards but not back. So I'm going to change the oil first and foremost, and then sort of assess our options. Now, I don't really want to get it refurbished again. The more I read into the Hearth or ZF gearbox that is, the less confident I am in their sort of longevity. Now, they're mainly designed for seagoing boats, where they'll literally be put into gear and then just driven for ages on that and then taken out of gear. Whereas on a narrowboat or inland waterways in general, you're sort of forwards, backwards, like turning round or winding, whatever it's called. No, winding. You're sort of banging it in gear. I know you sort of leave it in neutral for a second or whatever, but you're just constantly going back and forth, and it's hard wearing on them. So I'm going to look at options of replacing the gearbox to something new, but then I'm thinking if I'm doing that, I might as well put a new engine in that I trust, because we haven't got much history on this, or any history on this engine. And I'm thinking whilst the engine's out, because I will get it done in an actual boatyard next, mainly to get it, if we're putting a brand new unit in, I want it 100% aligned. The other thing is, obviously we need the water tank sorted. Now, someone is very kindly helping us with that. They don't want to be named, but the money's coming from Alaska, bless him very much, for the water tank. So we were talking to Kev about our options on that. There's something I'm going to try with a radiator system, just to see if it works, because Kev actually had it on his boat, and not a lot of people do, almost like a car radiator, which sounds crazy because obviously there's no draft or anything in there to keep it cool, or so I would have thought. But Kev was adamant that he's had one on his boat, and not to just believe him, he said, but speak to a few other people, see what they think. So I've got nothing to lose. I've actually got a spare radiator at home. I'm just going to see how it works, because as Kev said, you think if an old Land Rover out in the Sahara doing sort of 5 miles an hour at most, just with a normal radiator, that wasn't overheating, or shouldn't be, although it is a Land Rover, so it might well have been. that's something to try. The other option is, like I said, if we're taking the engine out to do the gearbox anyway and replace the engine, we might as well get the skin tanks ground out and replaced, because Kev would want the engine out of the way to do them because it's just so tricky to get in there. So all sort of points towards getting it all done once properly, forget, which I'd love to do. Obviously it's going to be almost as much as what we paid for the boat itself, so going to be a kick in the you know what, but we're planning on keeping the boat forever, I say, but for as long as we can, to as our base in England, so it'd be worth doing. It's just obviously a hell of an investment. For now though, we're going to try and find a marina, or we have found one I should say, because we've got some travelling that we need to do this year to use up some flight vouchers. So we're actually going to America. We're flying out to possibly New Orleans, which will be around my birthday in May, and then up to Chicago to do Route 66. This is what we had planned 2 years ago. And some of the flight vouchers expire at the end of this year, so we need to do it. I know it's not ideal with the timing of the boat and stuff, we really just want to get out cruising, but if we lose another sort of 1,000 or whatever on flight vouchers, we'd never forgive ourselves. So yeah, we're doing Route 66, stopping at Vegas, and then going to do the West Coast, which is definitely LA, San Fran, San Diego, no particular order, but yeah, you get the idea, and then out to Hawaii. So we're looking at options there. If anyone's got any recommendations, we've got a few things that we definitely want to do, but yeah, we're open to you guys if you've got any advice. We have been told by a patron that it's going to be tornado season, so I think we'll get a 4x4 hire car and definitely take out tornado insurance if that's such a thing. Anyway, I'm not going to end the week, I know that was quite high anyway, I'm not going to end the week on low. I'm going to do these bits of plywood. I'm just going to screw them, fill them, sand them, hopefully, maybe not sand them, depends how long they take to dry, and then call it a week. Right, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Special thanks to Andrew for dropping some beers around as well.
Crampalicious.
Drive.